Unconventionals. This is our first ever Members' Choice video for June 2022.
Yeah, we posted a poll and you all voted, and the winning choice was a rental property comparison for popular areas in Ecuador.
Yes, so we're going to show you 5 areas that are very popular with expats, starting with Manta.
Amelia did the research to find all of these properties, and we'll put links to all of them in the description below, and you can use those websites to find other properties too. They may not all be available when you look at them because sometimes the agents don't keep their listings up to date, but it will give you an idea of the options that are available and how much you can expect to pay.
We have other full-length real estate and for rent videos that we filmed around the country of Ecuador, and we will put a link below to that playlist if you want to do a deeper dive.
This first condo is located on Murciélago Beach, close to Mall del Pacifico. It is an ocean view, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,000 square feet, fully furnished with air conditioning. It's in a secure building with a pool for $900.
Our next condo in Manta is in the Barbasquillo area. It is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 968 square feet, fully furnished condo with air conditioning, and it is in a secure building with a pool, and it is only $500 a month.
Expats like Manta because it's at sea level, so you don't have to deal with all those elevation issues. It's also sunnier and quite a bit drier. It is still humid there, but nothing like Olón.
No.
It's in a desert microclimate, so you don't have the extreme humidity like we did in Olón.
Yeah, and it is more developed. It's got a really nice mall. It's got a nice airport that is very close to town. It's only like 10 minutes away. It has new healthcare facilities. They were just finishing up a new private healthcare, and they have a relatively new IESS hospital there.
They have a lot of medical services in that area, so that's a nice thing. It's a little bit nicer than La Libertad in that regard. Now, some of the not so good things about Manta is that, as Amelia says, the beach sucks. It's not, the Murciélago beach is not a very nice beach. It's
okay.
It's pretty small. It's often really crowded because Manta is really popular with Ecuadorian tourists. So the beach it's just not big enough to handle the volume of people, and it's just not very nice. A lot of it's rocky.
Yeah, so we can't take our long walks on the beach that we could do in Olón, and we could do that in Salinas, and so we didn't like that as much. The views, however, are quite beautiful. There's just not as much to do in the Manta area. I know people get bored, and full confession, we got bored.
Yeah, we did. There's just not a lot to do. There is Restaurant Row we didn't mention before, so there's a lot of really nice restaurants to eat at. So if you like to eat out, you can do that. That's going to have a downward impact on your budget
Yes,
if you do that. But other than that, there's just not a lot. There are a couple of expat meetups each week. There's one for coffee and then one for dinner each week. And a lot of the expats like to go to those and talk to each other. But there's just not a lot of activities. There is a golf course in Monte Cristi, and we know expats go there, some of them daily, if not weekly, to play golf. So that's something to do. And we have seen paddle boarders and surfers and things like that, but
kite surfing.
And kite surfing is popular there as well, but just not a lot of other stuff.
And one of the other downsides is that Manta is definitely more expensive than some of the other places that we have featured in Ecuador, especially if you want some of the really nice new high-rise condos, and they're kind of in short supply right now.
Yeah, there is a real estate shortage in Manta. All right, Amelia, let's move on to the next city, and that is Salinas.
Our first property in Salinas is in Chipipe. It is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo, 1,776 square feet. It is fully furnished, and it includes internet and cable. It does have air conditioning and a nice big balcony, and it rents for only $850 a month.
In Chipipe, there's a road that runs between the beach and the condo buildings, so it's not technically on the beach, it's across the road from the beach, but it's still, you're right, you just cross the street and you're on the beach, and it is a really wide beach, and it's really pretty.
It is really pretty. That whole area of Chipipe is quite nice.
Our next Salinas condo is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 620 square feet, so it's a bit smaller. It is fully furnished. It's in a secure building with a pool and a jacuzzi. This one's located a little inland, so it's not beach access. It's in the Punto San Lorenzo area, which is in the La Italia sector, closer to the Supermaxi, and there is a TIA in the area as well. And all of this for only $600.
Yeah, that condo is super cute. Expats love Salinas because it is such a beautiful, walkable town. It's very clean. It's got lots of flowers and lots of sunshine. It is a drier climate as well because it's in one of those desert microclimates. Is that right, JP?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so it's not nearly as humid. It doesn't rain as much, and it is sunnier than Olón. And we compare all of this to Olón because we lived there over a year, and we only saw the sun for about 5 months of it.
Yeah, it was dark.
It was so humid there, man. It was brutal sometimes. And both Salinas and Manta are in desert microclimates, so it's much drier, although it is on the ocean, so it's still humid.
Yes, it's also very family friendly, and our realtor friend was telling us they have some really good international schools there for your kids, which is a plus if you're coming with small or medium-sized children.
Yeah. Are we done with the good stuff?
No, it's also very affordable.
Oh yeah, it is affordable. There's the condos there are much cheaper because there's a lot more of them. Salinas was really built up about 10 to 15 years ago, so it's a lot more fully developed in terms of condos than Manta is. Manta is really behind on its development in terms of livable condo buildings on the beach. There's huge swaths of the beach that have nothing built on them. They are starting some new projects, but those probably are not going to be move-in ready for another 2 years in Manta. But Salinas is like almost entirely built up along the beach.
Yep, and the beaches are really pretty. We really enjoy walking on our Salinas beaches. And it has a nice malecón too.
Mm-hmm. Now the downside is that there is not a lot to do. It's even worse in Manta, I think. A lot of people leave Salinas because they get really bored. There's no cultural events really to speak of. Even the restaurants are limited. If you like surf and turf, they've got you covered. It's like almost every restaurant down the Malecón has the exact same menus, the same sandwich boards. I mean, there's just not a lot to choose from there. There's a nice Mexican restaurant called Lucy's, and
there's some pizza places.
But
Italian.
It's just not the same as like Restaurant Row in Manta or in Cuenca, which is the culinary capital of
amazing.
Ecuador.
Yeah, and I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the closest airport that is functional, because Salinas does have an airport, but they don't use it, is in Guayaquil. So that's about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Salinas. So that's where you're going to need to go for true major services. Mm-hmm. Now, you are close to La Libertad, so you do have healthcare there and more shopping and more civilization.
A big mercado in La Libertad. There's a small mercado in Salinas it's good enough to get most of your stuff. But if you really want the big mercado experience, you got to go to La Libertad.
Yeah, and it's just not quite as nice as far as shopping and services as some of the other areas.
Yeah, if you need serious medical care, you're going to have to go into Guayaquil.
Our next location is Kotakachi, and our first property is a one-bedroom, one-bath condo on the ground floor. It is 645 square feet, fully furnished, and it is very close to the El Centro or downtown Cotacachi area. It's about a 5-minute walk to get into El Centro, and it's only $290 unconventionals. $290.
The second property in Kotakachi is a house. It's 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 1,700 square feet. It's fully furnished, a single family home in a gated community, 10-minute walk into the downtown of Kota. And it is $900 a month for that big house.
Yeah, and that house is gorgeous. I think Kotakachi is our most affordable place on our list and one of our favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard from a lot of people that Kota is the most affordable place in terms of popular expat destinations in Ecuador.
And it is popular with expats. These two included. We love it because one of the main reasons is that it is very affordable. It's also close to Otavalo. So you've got your nice little small town feel of Kotakachi, but then you can go to Otavalo and get your major shopping done. And then you've got Ibarra.
There's a Super Maxi in Ibarra, and it's about a 20-minute drive from Kotakachi. So a lot of expats go in there once a month and load up on their bulk items at Super Maxi, but there's a nice Tia and a lot of little shops, and there's a big mercado in Kotakachi, so you can get most of everything you need there.
And every Thursday they have an organic market. They have a little farmer's market or a pop-up market in Kotakachi. There's a lot of nice restaurants. It reminded us a lot of Vail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we really enjoyed our time there. And it's a really neat area because there's a lot of indigenous influences in that whole region. The scenery is stunning. There's lots to do if you like to do things outdoors, if you like to go hiking or shopping or
mountain biking.
Yep.
Because there's Kotakachi volcano and the Imbabura volcano are right across from each other. So you have these amazing panoramic views in that area.
Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And there's Lago San Pablo. You can go kayaking on that. We have not done that yet, but we will.
There's a ton of coffee shops too. And there's a really nice one that's outdoors and it's a really cool like ambiance, and they serve food too, but it's a really cool coffee shop and you can go hang out in groups there, and there's several coffee shops and really good restaurants there, and Vandanam Indian restaurant if you're Indian food junkies like we are.
Yes, and it is very, very safe. Now for the cons, it is small, so if you're not really into a small town, you may not like this as much. Our friend Francis that owns Vandanam thinks it's hilarious that the sidewalks roll up there at 8 o'clock because he says everybody is really old.
Yeah, and so he doesn't say the sidewalks. That's me. Amelia always attributes that because I said that.
That's true.
What he said is that everything closes at between 8 and 8:30 because everyone is really old and everybody goes to bed early.
Yes.
Which is funny because everywhere else we've been in Ecuador, the Ecuadorians go out really late, but the Ecuadorians that we saw in that area were really elderly.
Yes.
There were a lot of really old people who lived there.
But there were a lot of little kids too, and there's definitely more vibrant vibe in Otavalo. So if you need more energy, you might want to go to Otavalo. It's also higher elevation, so something to consider if you're not a fan of elevation. And it was pretty chilly when we were there, and it rained quite a bit, so the weather's not the best.
It's about 8,000 feet to give you perspective.
And you were not as close to any major healthcare services. So you've got there's a clinic in Kotakachi. Then you've got
IESS clinic.
Yep, and then you've got Otavalo, but really you would have to go to Quito for your major services. Same with an airport.
And they have some doctors and specialty stuff, like they have a foot doctor and eye doctors in Kotakachi and little small shops in the town. But if you want serious medical care, you're probably going to go in either to Otavalo, Ibarra, or clear into Quito. But nice thing is that Quito is only an hour and a half door to door from the center of Kotakachi to the airport terminal. It's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it's a really nice, beautiful drive with a very well-maintained highway.
Now let's head south to Loja. And this first property is a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom. It's a newer condo for rent in a building with an elevator. It has a master bath and a jetted tub, lots of windows and lots of natural light, Amelia's favorite thing. And it's only $350.
Yeah, Loja is very affordable. Our second place is an unfurnished house. This is a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 2,690 square foot house. It is in the Zamora Huayco Zamora Huayco neighborhood, which is a very, very nice neighborhood. It's close to walking trails. It's close to a university. The house itself has a lot of natural light. You can see it's a little bit older and dated, but boy, you could fit your family in there very comfortably. It also has a 2-car garage, and it rents for only $800 a month. So Unconventionals, I will tell you, I had trouble finding places with my usual resources. So I ended up using Facebook thanks to some of your comments on Discord. And JP and I have still yet to go to Loja, so we don't have as much information on the area or properties for you. But this was actually really good information that we found. And I'll be interested to hear any sort of feedback you guys can provide for us.
Yeah, we have heard good things about Loja, and expats really enjoy living there. It's a smaller city vibe. People have said it's a little bit like Cuenca, but much smaller. So you don't have as many English speakers, and there isn't the variety of restaurants that you'll find in Cuenca. But it is a beautiful area. It's a little bit lower elevation. It's like, I think, around 6,500 feet. So it's quite a bit lower and warmer than Cuenca. And it's surrounded by beautiful national parks, and it's the area. We've driven through it on our way to Vilca when we stayed in Vilcabamba for a week, and it really is a beautiful area.
It is, although I got to tell you, I have friends that have gone there for the weekend and not really liked it. I guess because they were bored. So if you want a lot of cultural stuff to do, then Cuenca is your best bet. Loja may not be the right place for you. But if you want to go and enjoy some delicious coffee, Loja is your place. They also have a lot of universities. JP and I were seriously considering Loja before Cuenca when we were doing our research, but we chose Cuenca because it's so much more expat friendly.
Yep. And we are not going to talk about Vilca in this video because it's, well, for one, it's kind of small. It's harder to find places to rent. And most of you on Discord and have messaged us have told us that you don't really want to live there. And it's a great place to visit and vacation. And some people enjoy living there, but for the most part, from what we've heard from multiple people, is that it's just not a lot to do. And they get bored there, and they just didn't like living there as much. So we're just not going to talk about it in this video.
Loja does have an airport, but it is 45 minutes away, so that is something to keep in mind. And it's a little bit isolated because you're 3.5 hours to Cuenca, which is one of the things that we chose not to, or one of the things we didn't like about it, I guess I should say.
Yeah, we wanted to be closer to an airport that flew to Quito, and the airport is in Catamayo, which is, like Amelia said, 45 minutes west of Loja through the mountains. So it's not exactly as convenient.
No, and they've had some flooding and other issues out in Loja, so we just felt that wasn't the right spot for us when we moved to Ecuador.
Plus, when we moved here, that airport was not fully functional. There were often weeks without flights, and then when they did reactivate, there were only flights like once a week. So it wasn't like Cuenca where you have daily flights to Quito.
But now there's 2 airlines that fly into Loja, LATAM and that Aero regional jet. So you do have some options, and there are daily options.
Now let's head back to Cuenca, which is still the place we recommend everyone start out when they first arrive in Ecuador. And this first property is in our favorite neighborhood of El Berjel. That's where we lived when we were there. It is a house? Condo.
It is a condo.
A condo, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, 2,000 square feet. It has 3 balconies, so you're going to have a lot of great views. It's close to the shopping, Tomebamba River, restaurants, especially Paradise. It's walking distance to our favorite Indian restaurant.
Yes.
And it's only $980 a month.
Yes, and that is fully furnished. I forgot to put that in your notes, JP.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Sorry, Unconventionals. Our next condo is located in Gringolandia. It's actually on Ordonez Lasso, and it is right by the Yanuncay River. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,900 square foot, fully furnished condo in a newer part of Cuenca. It is a 10-minute taxi ride to El Centro, but you could definitely walk there. It'll probably take you about 30 minutes. And the price is only $550 a month.
And that's fully furnished?
Fully furnished.
Wow, that's amazing. Gringolandia is a bit of a misnomer. We talked to Maité, who lives in that area. She's the our Gringo Visas lady. She said that it's really only about 5% expats who live in that area. That means the other 95% are Ecuadorian.
Yeah, it gets a bad rap. So
yeah, but people are like, I don't want to live in Gringolandia, but really it's Ecuadorian Landia with a few gringos.
I know, it makes it sound like there's like gringos everywhere, like there was a gringo explosion.
Yeah. The nice thing about that area is there is a super maxi and a little shopping center there with the Sucasa, which we used that's a nice home goods store, kind of like a Crate and Barrel of Ecuador.
Yeah, it's a nice area. All of Cuenca is nice.
So the pros of Cuenca, I mean, we have hundreds of videos, literally hundreds of videos from Cuenca, and we love it. It's still our favorite city in Ecuador. There's so much to do. The architecture is beautiful. There's linear trails along all the rivers, so you can go for long walks. There's beautiful parks like Parque Paraíso and Parque Calderón down in El Centro. You've got the new cathedral, the old cathedral, countless museums, and most of them are free. The restaurants are unbelievable. Yeah. It's the best. All the places I've ever lived, Cuenca has the most and the best restaurants.
Yeah, especially if you have alternative taste, meaning you don't want to just eat like surf and turf like you get in Salinas.
Yeah, there's a whole variety, all different cuisines. The only thing that we didn't really find that was good was Thai food, although there is a Thai connection. Did we ever eat there? We ate there once, I think.
We ate there once.
It was okay. We like really spicy food, and Ecuadorians tend to like zero spice. Yes. So it really wasn't as spicy as we like, but that's why we prefer the Indian food, because they know us and they know to make our food really spicy.
There's also a lot of mercados, so you've got a mercado in almost every neighborhood that you live in. Gringolandia, I don't know, there's a mercado.
There's Feria Libre.
Oh yeah, you're right. But there's also those bulk food stores too. So you have so many different options.
Arandanos, right?
Yeah, Arandanos, and then there's that new one that's kind of over by San Sebastian Park. We
went there. Gram.
Yeah.
Gram, Gramm, and it's near San Sebas Park. And it's another bulk item store with like seeds and nuts and dates and dried fruit, flowers. You can buy everything in bulk, take your own jars and bags, and that's really nice.
Yeah, and Cuenca is very affordable. It is not as cheap as Kotakachi, but it is very inexpensive.
Yeah, especially compared to the coast.
Yes.
So what are the downsides? I never can think of the downsides so much. I guess it used to be the
really, Mr. I can't handle the elevation.
The elevation and the weather are the two main downsides. It's really cloudy. It rains a lot there, and the elevation is high. It's 8,400 feet. I never did adapt to it, which is really the main reason we left. And I'm still disappointed because when we were back there, God, I just missed it. I just loved being back. And
we love Cuenca.
Yeah.
Cuenca is also the noisiest place we have lived.
Yeah, it's even noisier than Olón was. It's a lot noisier than Manta, which was actually pretty quiet. The ocean was the loudest part of Manta. Kota, like we said, goes to bed early. Yeah. It was really pretty quiet unless they have some sort of a festival going on. We've heard Loja is pretty quiet, but Cuenca, man, when we were back there, we just forgot how loud it is. There is so much noise all the time. They did get rid of the blue puffer buses, though, or most of them. We still saw a few, but they've replaced most of those with those energy or low-emission diesel red and white buses. So that's nice. You don't have to breathe in the smog when you're walking down narrow streets. But and the new buses are a lot quieter, but you still have those loud delivery motorcycles everywhere and dogs barking, roosters, loud music, church bells, Zumba in the park, and there's Zumba all over. It starts at 6:40 in the morning in several parts of Cuenca.
And there's always some weird parade going on, which means that there's usually some sort of band that's not very good.
Oh man, out of tune. And then what I've noticed a lot in Ecuador is that they race to finish the song. It's like they're racing each other to finish the song first rather than playing like together, and it's not good.
It seems like the percussionists are quite good.
Yeah, the drummers in Ecuador are really good. There's like a whole culture of drummers here, and they're really good, but the rest of the band could use some work.
Yeah, they need a little practice.
Yeah. All right, guys, we hope you found this video helpful, this real estate tour or rental tour of Ecuador. Hopefully it will help you make a decision on where you want to move. Do you have anything else, Amelia?
No, I'm just remembering some of those really interesting and entertaining neighborhood parades we witnessed, JP. I'm going down memory lane in my head now on conventionals.
We saw one when we were there.
We did,
last time in Parque de la Madre. We're like, what is that? And there's just some parade around the track in Parque de la Madre. We didn't even know what it was for. They're just awesome. Pop-up parades. They have those a lot in Ecuador. Yes. We've seen them all over. It's funny.
But nope, I think that's all we have.
Yeah. All right,
this was fun. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We will be putting out our next poll for the July Members' Choice video around the first week of the month. So probably after the 4th of July.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.